numero 12. Today is the 22nd of October, and it's a Saturday, and it's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, just walking along the recently harvested maize crop. It's so nice to see the space again. I downloaded what's on this device onto my laptop. Both of them, both laptops. So I could have cancelled what's here now, because number 12 is going to be, you know what I mean? It's going to be on its own here when the previous 11 entries on this device have already been sent to the laptop. Little stuff like that bothers me. It's not tidy. Anyway, I wanted to record something here specifically because it's a kind of special time today. We were working Saturday, and we're working this evening, and then we're off for 2 weeks. John Woodgate, Rock, and James were around in the Connemara today to kind of wish us a bon voyage, because John Woodgate is leaving Tuesday as well. Flo is leaving tomorrow morning with me. I'm going to drive her to Manosque, and then she's taking the bus to the TGV off to Paris, and then off to the airport and off to Delhi, then to the ashram. And I'm going to Ireland Tuesday. Woodgate's going off Tuesday. So Tuco is away with Amandine. It's kind of a strange time of that's really bad English. I'm kind of filled with a sense that things are going to change. Because there's also, of course, the Connemara. We haven't heard a definite yes from Patrice and his stepdad, but we also haven't heard a no. And we haven't heard any final demand for a price. They offered 40, we said 45. We were originally at 52 or something, so maybe even more. So I don't know if their quietness about the business is a good sign that they haven't come back to us. And they are still going through the paperwork and everything. Anyway, just between that and then I'm traveling, I'm a little apprehensive, of course, about driving to Manosque and getting the bus. I don't know why, really. I said to myself the other day, what the hell? If for some reason you don't get the airplane because you're too late or you screw up, well, as long as you manage to get yourself back to Orizon, you just stay here for a couple of weeks. Who cares? It hasn't cost me thousands of euros, these flights. They were very cheap. I spent more money on a jacket in Decathlon. But it just feels like a time of change. And like perhaps this time we won't go back to the same ways, maybe it really is the ending of an era. The whole Connemara being in this particular spot. As I look back, I have to say the rent here is 500 euros a month. I hear stories about the rent in Ireland for similar places being 2,000 euros a month. So if worst came to the worst and I had to go back to Carlow, obviously I wouldn't be renting my own place. And I probably said this before, but I'm kind of hoping that I can get some kind of resolution or some kind of comfort in the notion that I may want to go back in the future for a few months. I'd like to find a way of getting this subject across to people without causing trouble or distress. But I don't know if that'll work or not. Anyway, that's a different story. Right now I'm thinking about Flo and her big voyage coming up. And I obviously hope it all goes well for her. But a part of me also hopes that although I want it to go well, I kind of would like her to get back in 2 weeks and say, I'm so glad to be back here, and you know, maybe the 2 weeks was enough for me. Although in saying that, I have a strong feeling that she's going to come back and be absolutely geared up for going longer. I have a feeling she's going to absolutely love it over there in the ashram. Why wouldn't she? And she's going to look forward to going back for months. You know, not for 2 weeks, but to stay for 6 months. And when that comes, as I stand here looking back at Latrulier, and I'm imagine if she was going tomorrow for 6 months, and I was going back to Ireland, and I hadn't really explained to people there, my mum and Martina, if I hadn't really explained that actually I'm going back for a long time. This is where I'm filled with stress. Filled with stress. I don't know if I'm capable of even looking after myself anymore. I would like to carry on here somehow. I like the quietness here. And I wish I had a job outside the Connemara. I could earn some money, and at least there was the choice that if I really wanted to, I could afford to pay the rent, and I could stay here for the foreseeable future because I had a job. But without the Connemara and without any money, that's really, there isn't that choice. That kind of independence. So I don't like to think about it too much. At the moment anyway, Flo's very happy and excited for this trip. And I am quite neutral about my trip. I'm very focused on the present, which is quite a good thing. I don't find myself thinking about the trip too much. If I think about it right now, one thing comes to my mind is I should make sure I have my headphones all charged up, because that's something that makes me feel good. That is the idea or the thought of sitting back on the bus, knowing that you have the right bus, knowing that you've got plenty of time, and just sitting back and starting to listen to some music. A 1 or a 2 hour bus journey is the most perfect place to listen to music that there is. That's a nice thought. But when I get there and everything else, I'm not thinking about that too much. I don't know why. It's strange. There is no... When I was young, in my 20s, and I'd go back to Ireland, I'd have this big scenario in my head, kind of, how great it would be to get off the train, and how great it would be to go and see everybody again. They'd be happy to see me, I'd be happy to see them. Now I don't have those feelings anymore. I don't know if things disappear with age. I guess I should just look at it as a... I don't know, it's just a couple of days that I can just see whatever will be, you know. Maybe I'll have a decent conversation with my mum about what happens in the future if Flo decides to go off for 6 months. Maybe things will be comforting after that. Maybe I'll speak to some people I haven't seen for a long time. Maybe I'll happen to talk to somebody about the work situation and about getting a job. I can hear the dogs in the distance. I'm gonna head back. You can see someone coming in a red coat. I don't want to pass anybody. I think I've walked far enough. I've got to the part where we go in to see the river. That's the little path on the left, on the right. That's where I'm going now. See how healthy the river looks. The crypto markets are pretty crap at the moment. Bitcoin is 19,000. ADA is 35 cents. Ethereum is 1,300, I believe. Everything is down so much. Who gives a shit though? When I think about it, I started this year, or at least a few months ago. Me and Flo were coming from the doctor in Nice. I was being told that I had a form of cancer in my eye and I had to have an operation and all that. How scary was all that? And, you know, at that moment, when you can kind of see your life flash in front of you, not really, it didn't, that's been dramatic, but when you see there could be, I don't know, you're faced with your mortality and stuff. Well, just crypto and all these things don't matter at that moment. They don't matter. And whether Flo stays in India or where I go, doesn't matter either. As long as you're healthy and you have a chance to do stuff. That's what matters. There's a low-flying little plane above me, which is probably the guy that Flo teaches the yoga to. He's a pilot. He flies these little planes around. Anyway, this device is still working. I have after I change the batteries. This venting is really just for me, to be honest. I know I'm probably going to upload these things. Hey, little fella. It's a crazy dog. It's a woman. She has 2 dogs. One is a young one, and they're really not trained in any way. He just goes wild when he gets out. He's like Hosanna. Yeah, I'm probably going to upload all these things because I like to have some of my life out there, even if it's just for myself. If I live long enough to be interested in revisiting this time, because I know everything can change. Funny that when you're in the middle of your day-to-day life, you don't really see the future, and so you kind of put yourself in this position. You're going to be in this position forever. I remember thinking this when I was in the primetime video, thinking, am I going to be here till I retire? And then when I was with Shawnee, thinking, am I going to be here? And when I started in the Lloyds, but things always change, one way or another. I don't know what my future or what the next 10 years or 20 years, I don't know what it holds or where I'll be or who I'll be with. Really, anything is possible. So there might come a time when I'm back in Carlow. Might come a time when I'm back in Carlow and I'm living with Martina, and I've been living there for 5 years. And I'm lying back in bed and I'm listening to this, and I'm smiling quietly to myself, thinking, my God, it really has all become nostalgia. And I'll be saying, when I was making these recordings, I never really thought they'd become nostalgia, because at the time I could never see anything changing, But maybe in the future there will be changes, and maybe all this stuff and the sound of my footsteps walking here will be nostalgic, because maybe one day I'll leave here and I'll never come back.